get us started right away, man. Here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod. Joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Tuesday, ready to do some podcasting, finding us everywhere you get podcasts, of course. But we're not alone. I'm sure you see it in the show notes. I'm sure probably in the title, some clever thing we came up with later. But it is the homie. Y'all know him. He's the host, one of the hosts of For All Nerds podcast. Shout out to Castle Black for y'all that's getting y'all Game of Thrones over there. He's the author of the children's book, The World Is Yours. We had him on when that joint dropped. And he's got a brand new graphic novel, Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze, dropping August 27th. It's available for pre-order wherever you get books. I already pre-ordered mine. It's the homie DJ Benhameen. What's going on, bro?
Chilling. What's good, man? Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for having me on the show.
Man, it's good to see you, bro. Honestly, dog, I've been watching you through the socials and listening to the show, seeing you flourish out here, man. Last time you was on, I know you was promoting the children's book, but like, you know, not moving on up. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at Comic-Con. You out here on the other side of the table, signing shit. What's it been like, bro?
It's definitely been interesting. That was like you said, that was my first time that I was ever on, well, not my first time being interviewed, obviously. You know, I've been on your show and other shows before that, but that was my first time ever being on the other side of a press room where you just sit there all day and different teams of journalists come in and interview you. Usually I've been on the other side of that, where I was one of those teams of journalists begging to get an interview, and this time I was just sitting there all day and a bunch of people came in and interviewed me about Purple Haze.
What's it like being on the other side? Is it like, do you get tired answering the same questions, or because like it's new, was it like, man, shit, I could do this all day, like you know, finally it's my time?
Finally it was my time was definitely my feeling. And then it was like, oh man, like you ain't even prepared at all. Like that was my only issue, you know, because I know how hard I struggle to get access for different events and different interviews and things of that nature. So when someone comes in there and they're from a big network and they were just wildly unprepared, it was kind of insulting, you know. And I get we're not the biggest comic book in the world or any of that thing of that nature, but at the same time, it is Jimi Hendrix. So that is, you know, and this is done with the Jimi Hendrix estate. This ain't no fly-by-night operation over here. So it felt...
It's interesting too, because like, speak to that, because you as a podcaster, independent podcaster, I assume, much like me and Karen,
pretty much.
I know I do mad research normally before I have somebody on.
Don't half-ass it.
Like, even if it's the homie, I try to, like, if they doing something, I'm looking into that too, so I can be like, okay, so here's what you're doing, so I can ask some informed questions. So is it doubly insulting as like not just the person that's getting interviewed and you like, damn, you didn't do nothing, but also as a person that does interviews being like, yo, for real, you really didn't do nothing? You did nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, not even the bare minimum. And yeah, like you said, you answered the question for me. It was doubly insulting, because I too, just like you, I take a lot of pride. I know because my access is so limited, I'm never going to waste anybody's time. I'm going to do a lot of research. I'm going to attempt to, and also because I've been in so many press rooms where I've sat there and watched other journalists ask the same dumb question over and over and over again to 5 different actors as they wheel 5 different actors in. They just say the same question to each one of them. So I've sat there and been like, oh, you can't think of nothing else to ask? That question was dumb the first time you asked it. No shots, you know. But from there, I take pride in doing interviews. You can go listen to For All Nerds, any interview we've ever done. I feel like it's top. You know, most of the time people end our interviews saying this is one of the best interviews I've ever done. So, you know, no cap. It just is what it is. And I come from, you know, a long line like Combat Chat Show, et cetera, et cetera. I've been doing interviews with people since I was like 16 years old. I've been interviewing different people. So this is a long time for me. So it ain't, you know, I don't take it lightly.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to those interviews, you know, and y'all often get stuff out of people that you just don't hear anywhere else, where it's like...
I love interviews like that because, like you say, as somebody who's kind of set on both sides, as a consumer and as somebody that produces things, and as a consumer, when I'm listening to something, everything is normally, like you say, it's normally, here's a question, here's a question, here's a question. We only got you for 5 minutes. We only got you doing this segment, particularly if you're doing anything with like radio and TV. They don't actually get asked anything outside of the box. So when you get them in a platform that's not structured like that, look like you would ask them something outside of that to kind of get more information out of them. But a lot of people, they're just very structured with that. And you're like, well, this is the same thing I could have got anywhere then.
I think also it's content now. Like, we in the age of content. So it's just like, record this, get something down. We'll edit it later. We got our 5 minutes. No, we didn't ask anything, in depth. We didn't read anything. We didn't look at anything. You can always tell those interviews to me because it's like, such and such radio show. We on here with DJ Benhameen. Hey man, what's it like to read books and write them? It's like, whoa.
What was it like to be black and know that you are intelligent enough to put words together that's in a book? How does that make you feel? You're like, why are you asking me these questions?
Well, to me, it's just more like, so you wrote a book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, like, you're not gonna introduce us to it, nothing.
Nothing.
Now, what is the difference, man, between, because you wrote the children's book, you've written for TV. What's the difference between this and writing a comic book?
Man, each medium is its own thing, and every time I can say I've gone into these, it's been my first time, and I've known absolutely nothing about it other than what I just knew from inherent things like TV. Obviously, I've been studying TV and film. I've been studying my whole life. A lot of people don't know that. Like, that was just something I've done well before DJing. I was always a student of film and television, and I always wanted to direct and write. That's just something I've wanted to do since I was a very young child. So I've always known that, but at the same time, I hadn't professionally done it. That's a whole different ball game, as you know, to be in a room with people and, pitch ideas, et cetera, all that type. Everything that goes along with that. And then with my children's book, that was more, I'd written a poem and posted it, and a friend of mine who was an artist who I've known for years was like, yo, you should make a children's book out of this. And so we were like, cool. And we knew nothing about publishing anything. We raised funds on Kickstarter. We did not ask for near enough money. And then we asked basically for, how much it would cost to produce it, and then we knew we would sell some and we'd make some money, but that's not how you do it. And we learned that the hard way. And so we put it out and, made some money. And you can still get that book if you hit me up. I'm about to re-release it. We got a new printing, so that's coming soon as well. But then with the comic book, it was more, my brother Mello Brown hit me up. We'd worked on American Gods together, and he asked me that I want to pitch because he'd written the comic book Blade Runner Origins, and he's been writing a bunch of Blade Runner comics in that universe. And that's all for Titan Publishing, who owned the rights to Jimi Hendrix's, or was working with the Jimi Hendrix estate to put together a graphic novel. And they had the basic rough idea that they wanted it to be something science fiction and not just a straight autobiographical, story. And after that, we pitched. And to answer your question, the difference, and this is not like you're in a writer's room. With me, it was me and Mello. So we just would sit there and get on a Zoom and talk out ideas and figure out what we wanted to talk about. And then we would go back to our various spaces and write our own pages. And then we come together, put it together, and send it off to Janie for review. Jimi Hendrix, who is the executor of the Hendrix estate. So, yeah.
And did y'all ever get hit back with some like, not this, or
yes,
yeah? And so that's, because to me, like, on the outside looking in, I think everybody wants to, you see creative stuff. You like, I want to be in the creative lane. I want to write. I want to this. Well, I think the crucialest part, the hardest part for so many people is that no, because sometimes you write something that's fire to you, or like it's just from your perspective, but people have different perspectives to come in. It's like, hey, right. So we thinking about how it would look for this, or this, we can make this funnier or make this more serious or whatever. So how is it getting used to that, like that, that critical, like, no, or you can tighten this up or make this longer or shorter?
I think it's weird for me because I've always done things on a public stage, trying to, I've been a DJ my whole life, so I've got instant reaction. To no, that was not a good creative choice right there. We are not feeling that. That's not working for us.
You disapprove.
Yeah, and we're going to boo you. to your face because you made that choice, and you now have less than a minute to think of something else and present us with another pitch. So it's like, that was the funniest thing. I'll never forget the first day we were in a writer's room, and I said a bunch of things, and at the end of the day, my man Drace was like, yo, you're so brave. And he was complimenting everybody. He was saying how brave all of us were, and of all the junior writers. And I was just sitting there like, man, I'm throwing you ideas. Like, if you don't like an idea, I'll throw you another one.
Right.
It's fine. I'll stuff that in my back pocket and I'll use it for something else. And that was another thing. American Gods, and working in TV was such a test that when we would, and then like I say, I've worked for horrible bosses in the DJ industry. I think the DJ industry just prepared me for a lot of things where it's like, if you don't like an idea, that's cool. You're probably not going to curse me out. You're probably not going to do a lot of things I've experienced in other industries.
Right.
So you're not going to threaten my life, things that I've had happen in various industries I've worked in. So it wasn't, I can't say it was that much. Now, on this project, there were some ideas, and we had definitely a lot of, not say a lot, but there was pushback more in the beginning than towards the end. Once we established a working relationship and they realized how much we really cared and were putting our blood, sweat, and tears into this, they were pretty much like, go for it after that. So it was some of the least.
I was gonna say, a lot of it's about trust. So like you work together, you foster that trust, and it's easier to see where people going. It's easier for people to take the reins off and be like, I trust you got respect for this property in a way that's gonna allow you to make something good that I don't have to like oversee every second of.
Right.
I know for game theory, that was a big thing, was like, once you work together with people enough and they see where you coming from, you get that trust rapport, and the art go to another level to me when it's like, oh, you trust me to do what I do and I trust you to do what you do. I remember working on a deep dive with my man Sid. And Sid is very spontaneous. He's a stand-up, he's hilarious. And I'm a sit down, put the paragraph A here, paragraph B here, point C to this. So like we had to work together on something. You get like a couple weeks to do it or whatever. And I'm like, let me do the spine, and then I'm gonna come to you, and I'm leaving space because I know how you cook. I'm just leaving space. Whatever you put in there, we'll make it smooth into one collaborative piece. And I think collaboration is like a difficult thing, but having a good partner and trusting each other can take it to that next level. So is that what it was like for you and Mello? Like, have y'all ever worked together in this fashion before, where it's, you write something, I write something, we bounce it off each other till we find that perfect synergy? Or is this like, was this a new type of, dynamic to your relationship?
I can tell the story now because we're so far removed, and I'm pretty sure we told in various forms, but I can tell the whole, real quick part. Me and Mello once wrote a script to actually start our career in Hollywood, to get on American Gods together in 3 days. I'd say like 2.5. We, for me, it was coffee and marijuana, and it was just blind, all night long, just typing away. And it was a terrible script, but it just allowed us to, get our foot in the door and then talk our way into a job after that. And that part was just, that's Jedi mind tricks and, knowing what you're talking about. And like I say, I've studied this game for a long time, so I knew what I wanted to talk about, and it worked out in that situation. But in this situation, that's something me and Mello have spent, like, even before that, way back in the day when we first met, we put together scripts. We just both were like, yo, I want to get in Hollywood. And we didn't really know how, but we were just both like, yo, we got to figure out something. So we put together, like, we had a horror joint we did together and some other stuff. So this was, I would say, like the third time that we've sat down together and written together. But just like every other time, man, we'd be on Zoom for 3 hours, and 30, 45 minutes of that would be talking about the script. The other 3 is just us yapping away because we are just brothers like that. And we'll just talk about, movies we've seen, comics we've been reading, music, what's going on in life, just everything. So that's how it was. And then we would sit there and be like, okay. And then it was one of, like, I'm really super proud of this book. There's a lot of things we'll talk about it, but it's, the first thing was like, we got to we had ideas that we wanted to express, and we pretty much got to express a lot of them in this book. So that was something that I'm really proud of, because it worked out. You know, I had a lot of ideas about music and about Black music that I wanted to talk about, and the Hendrix estate and everyone and Titan allowed us to express those ideas the way we pretty much wanted to. I didn't have pretty much any pushback on that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's dope, man. It's dope having a partner that y'all can do that together, because, you know, a lot of times you see partnerships as people get, you know, they dissolve all the time. You look up and you're like, oh, damn, they don't mess with each other no more. Oh, they working on separate projects or whatever. So it's always a blessing to be able to do something with somebody that it like means something. It's more than just mercenary work. Like, we making something together and we sharing a vision, and I'm happy for that for you.
Yeah, and also because me and Mello have gone through that. You know, we've been through our back and forth where we were, you know, living together at one point. Then I moved back here, and he was popping off in Hollywood, and I'm just out here DJing and doing my thing. And so it's like we've been back and forth, but we were always friends, you know, first. But we would, you know, have times where we spent more time apart. And then when we came back together for this book, that was like one of the themes of the book, is somebody getting the band back together. So it was kind of like us getting our band back together where we're really, you know, like creating something together. So it was really fucking dope. And to have two, you know, Black men doing this, I feel really proud about it.
Right. And then y'all have an artist, Tom Mandrake.
Lord have mercy.
So what's it like working with an artist? Because, like, I've read like the first like 5 to 10 pages of this, like, over the last couple of days, because I ordered it, and I low-key don't be wanting to spoil stuff. You know, I'm kind of.
I know you are. You so bad.
No, I'm about that, man. Like,
I wasn't sure if you'd read it, Rod, but I should have known Rod ain't gonna finish it before he gets to read it.
I didn't. You know, I don't like getting it early. Like behind the scenes, the audience, y'all don't know this, but behind the scenes, I could have been on For Our Nerds Castle Black this season
several times,
but they get the copy so early. I would have to
hold up, not so early, y'all. We get the episode usually the week of, sometimes Friday, and I'd be like, yo, Rod, I'll send it to you on Saturday. You can watch it Saturday afternoon and record with us Sunday morning. Rod's like, nah, I'm good. You know, Sunday night.
I gotta be with the family. We gotta do it live. You know.
I get it. No, I get it.
So I didn't want to spoil myself, but I did read like the setup. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Like, and it's like cosmic. Like, y'all really went for it. It wasn't like I was thinking almost like biopic. You know, like, oh, okay. Nah, it's all DJ Benhameen up in there, dog. Like, it's everything that you would like. It's more than you would expect. So like that part was cool, but the art, it struck out at me. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Cause in my mind, I'm thinking as a writer, I have visions in my head of what stuff should look like. But unlike live action, even where you like know which actor gonna do what,
right?
I don't like. What's it like having no real idea until like that page come back and you like, yo, he got it, or he added something, or he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he saw something I didn't see.
Yes.
What's that process like?
First of all, it's Tom Mandrake who did the pencils and inks, and then another cat, Justin Prokovich, who did the colors. And so it's like, this, once again, this is my first time. Comics and me go back almost as long as film and me. Like, I've been reading comics since I can't not remember, you know, pretty much. I think it was like, I don't know, around like 7 or 8, maybe, you know, somewhere around there. Because I was playing Dungeons and Dragons first, which was really early. And then I was reading comics like 6, 7, 8, probably, you know, because I know D&D was way too early for me. I was playing that shit way too early. But yeah, and then I was reading comics way too early and reading adult comics way too early. But so I've been reading comics forever, and so I've seen the process. You know, I've been in cons and seen people's pencils in my face. I've, you know, seen the How to Draw Comics the Marvel way, where they start with the sketches and then get the pencils and then the inks and then the colors and then the letters. But this is it's the silliest shit in the world, Rod. Like, to be, you know, like to write some shit, and then there's the other side of it. Tom Mandrake. When we first started this project, they already had Tom on board. He'd been on board for a minute. And so they're like, we have Tom Mandrake. And they sent me a picture of his, you know, Hendrix sketch. And I'm like, okay, that's really dope. But I didn't know who the fuck Tom was, honestly, because I grew up reading Marvel. And during the years that Tom was really, like, when his formative years, he was doing DC. And so when I was reading Marvel, he was doing, like, the Spectre and Batman, a bunch of other stuff and shit I just never really seen. So they were like, Tom Mandrake was doing the book. And I'm like, oh, cool. when you go around and tell people, as I learned, like, you know, I go and talk to my man Joe Willage. I was like, yo, Joe, we got Tom Mandrake. Joe's jaw drops to the floor. You know, like when you tell people you have Tom Mandrake doing your art, they're just like, yo, what the? I was talking to Tom King at San Diego Comic-Con the other day. Tom motherfucking King. If you know, you know. If you're a comic reader, if you know, you know. And I'm like, yo, Tom Mandrake. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, first book. You know, and that, like, that's been my, you know, the Cameron, that's been my line, you know, like, first comic out, art by Tom Mandrake. You know what I mean? Like, straight up. Like, that is.
You ought to make a t-shirt.
Yeah, I need a t-shirt. You ain't never lied. First comic out. Like, because, like, the dude is a motherfucking god. And so, you know, it's like you're telling somebody who is so talented what to do. It's like you're directing them. And that's what I learned first, especially, and I'll probably just try and work with talented people, because that was the first thing I learned was like I had an idea for the first page that you read. I won't tell you exactly what it was, but the first page has a number of panels. I can say that for a reason. And so it was, in my head, it was laid out a certain way. When he sent it back, it wasn't laid out at all like that. And because of that, it looked completely different than what was in my imagination, but to me, it just looks better, and I didn't give a shit. Because it still, you know, it still had the same amount of panels that I needed, and it expressed everything so beautifully. So after that, I just stopped telling him shit. I was like, yo, bro, I don't care what I've written in the script. Like, if it says, you know, this medium shot, just you figure it out, you know? And then Tom would be like, yo, I'm really inspired by what you and Mello are writing, which was fucking mind-blowing to me, too, because he's, again, Tom Mandrake. So it was the craziest stuff, man. These pages, like seeing them go from pencils to inks at every stage. He's such a developed artist, and it's like you've seen that big double page splash that opens it. There's like the first page, and then there's this 2-page splash. When I got that the first time, and to this day, I've looked at it for probably hours of my life, you know, just those 2 pages. Because I've just sat there and just been in awe of what he did, and I could not believe that he transformed what was like basically like a paragraph of words into this, to me, you know, one of the greatest pieces of art I've ever seen in my life. Like,
it's crazy too, because like part of this collaboration and the reason that trust is so important is you could write some super strict instructions of like, this is what I want, but it takes away that artist's ability to add. Yeah. And so, and people do this all the time, these control freak types. I'm not gonna say no names, but like how, you know how like Tyler Perry doesn't hire writers, but part of what makes work great is sometimes being able to let it go. To me, the Star Wars universe got better when more hands touched it, not less. So like sometimes you got to let your baby go to get that back. And then these people have been in this field. Mandrake is 68 years old.
Man.
The amount of stuff he's forgotten is more than you can possibly
ever know, especially about art, you know, about art and about layout, about all the things that go into a comic, you know. Yeah, he's forgotten more than I'll ever know. So why would I tell him to do anything? Like,
well, because he's gonna bring something that's gonna raise your awareness. You're gonna look at that page and go, oh damn, I didn't even think if you put this panel over here and this panel up here, it looks like complete puzzle pieces if you put them together or something like that that you could not have thought of because you're just thinking about writing. That's your job. And so I it's like, it's dope to see that come together. Karen, I'm sorry, you're gonna say something.
No, and I'm asking you this is kind of a technical question, but as somebody who I read comics, but you and Roger are more aware. The person that draws it and the person that inks it, they're 2 different people. And so does the person that sometimes, okay. So does the person that draw it instruct the people how to ink it, or do the people that...
Oh, you mean color?
Yeah, the color.
No, ink,
or does
ink
the people
too. It's all 3 stages. Yeah, because it starts usually with pencils, then inks, then colors. Right. No, like it's all this trusting, and that's what that's something else I had to learn, especially with the colors. Because the colors I didn't know for nothing. And at first I was like, when they first sent back some pages, when Justin first sent back some pages, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, especially one of the pages, I was like, damn, why didn't you do it like that? You know, and I got the intent of what they were doing, but I was still like, come on, man, you could have just, you know, done it like that. And I said that, and they, you know, they were kind of tight. And Mello was like, yo, don't do that. You know, he's like, we wrote what we wrote. Nobody told you what to say, you know? So it's like you have to have trust in them. And man, now I've been running around. I'm mad that Justin isn't listed on the front cover because that's a big problem in comics. Like colorists don't get the love that, you know, pencilers and even inkers do. Like on our cover, you know, yeah, on our cover, it's Mellow Brown, DJ Benhameen, and Tom Mandrake. And I feel like Justin Prokovich should be right there with us because Justin's colors are fucking godsend, man. Like, it's stuff that he's doing, that they're doing, and I'm just like, yo, this is perfection. And I wouldn't, like you said, I don't know this stuff. You know, I know it from what I think I know, but I don't know it like they know it. So it's better just to let them do what they do.
That's another reason that it's so dope to get experience in a field that you criticize or critique or consume. It's because then you get to see shit like that where it's like, wait, I can't decide who name go on the cover. Someone in somewhere just sends it back to me like blank, and that's something I like. It's probably why I'm more lenient on TV and movies and stuff than
I tell everybody that.
It's so much stuff you can't control. Where like if everyone at home knew like what we had to do to get the Jake Paul interview, they would be like, oh yeah, there's no complaint we could possibly say about that interview. Y'all did way too much shit. Some shit you can't even say because of NDAs. Like y'all did so much shit, but they don't know that. So you just be at home like, oh, why this didn't happen? And so it's interesting to be on the other side where it's like, damn, they like this. I'm seeing it in my face now. It's really hard to get a colorist the props they deserve because of just the way the game works or whatnot.
Just the way the game works.
So,
and colorists just don't get that props like that. You know, I know one book that and writer that I highly admire is Kieran Gillen. And that's like a friend of mine now. And they've done Wicked and Divine and stuff. And, you know, on their cover, it's Gillen, McKelvey, and Wilson, because it's Matt Wilson who's the colorist. And, you know, they're just as important to everything. And I just really have been, you know, singing Justin's praises. Justin Prokovich, you know, is just as important to this as Tom Mandrake, and especially in the like, that's something I've been really getting until, and that's why I even say, Rod, it's okay with this because the graphic novel itself looks so much better than any version of it than I've ever seen. Like I've had the PDFs for months, and they just don't compare to the pages. Like the pages, the print job, everything is so well done. I was stunned when I opened this shit up. Every time I open it up right now. Yeah.
I can tell just looking at the PDF, it's gonna be like that when I get it in person. Like it got
silly.
It look like I saw you signing some and stuff. I was like, okay, dog.
Like they didn't play around. Like props to Titan. Like they did not play around. Like it's nice, oversized. You know, it's like bigger than a regular comic book, but not gigantic.
Right.
And then like all the pages are just so well done and so well bound. Everything about it, man. I'm just like, ooh, this shit fire.
Ooh, when did you wake up one day and be like, this is real? Because you know how you do things and you're just going through the process, but it being real don't actually sink in. When was that moment you was like, holy shit, like this is real?
There was a few. You know, there was a few. And it's still moments to come. I know that, you know what I mean? Like the first one I think was, I've pitched too much shit, so it wasn't when we pitched. Because I've pitched too many things and went nowhere. So it wasn't when we pitched. It was, but even when we pitched, we were sitting there talking to Jimi Hendrix. So that was like, wow, this is crazy. You know, this is interesting. You know, life is weird again. And I would say probably the first time I saw Tom Mandrake's pencils. Like that was something I'd never experienced. Like I've written stuff. I still haven't really seen things that I've written go to screen. So that's another thing I've really experienced like that. But I've never experienced someone taking my words and turning them into art. And that was like the realest shit I've seen in a comic. And then, you know, as each stage came and it got realer, but then the realest shit was, to me, still is, and it's on video, is me opening it up for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con with Mello and Janie by my side. Cause that was like the first time I'd seen this shit there in my hands. It's a real thing. It actually exists. You know, it's got the eyes, whatever number on it. Like this thing is coming out, you know, cause it's been delayed. It was actually supposed to drop last November. So there's been a lot of different delays. It's been well worth it though, because it just wasn't ready last November. And now it's been like, there's a huge push behind it and everything. So But that was the realest moment, is seeing it in person. Still,
I
every time I
figured
look
you-
at it. Yeah.
I figured you would have a high bar for real too, because after what happened with you with the gods, I can feel you being like, man, I don't believe nothing until I see it, bro.
I don't
Like,
believe nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
Like Hollywood
I'm very
taught me
much
that
like
lesson.
too. Yeah, I'm like that too,
Hollywood.
bro.
Yeah.
It's times where we legit, cause I love what I do, but I'm very unattached from my work in that. Cause if I love it too much and it gets changed or something, then you'll go crazy and you just get. It's like I have to go into like Idris Elba said, go into the drift with no feelings, no emotions, no connection, no attachment. That's how I do when I do my work. But once I see, like, I get home and it's on TV, I'm like, yes, I did. That was it. When I wrote for Drapetomaniacs, when Tuesday will come and then the episode drop and I listen to it, then I will be like, I did that. Until then, it was just like some work I did. I hope everybody get to see. So I know I know that joint felt good when you had that thing in your hands, man.
And even more so, like I said, the other real date is still August 27th, because
right,
like, even though I'm pretty sure it's coming out at this point, you know.
Yeah, I feel you though.
But anything can happen. I'm with you. Just never know.
And people have it, you know, and so it exists, you know. So like, that's the thing. No matter what, at this point, people will read it, you know. So it's going to get out there. So yeah, it's pretty real at this point. But August 27th is still gonna be like, I might cry again that day, because that's gonna be something. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Who all you saw out at Comic-Con, man? How long was you out there?
I was out there the whole time. I'd never been to San Diego Comic-Con, so I was out there from Thursday through Sunday through Monday even. I was still in Diego Monday. I didn't get to see as many people as I'd like, but I definitely, you know, like I said, I talked to Tom King. I've talked to him before, but I got to email him now because we want to get him on For All Nerds. But I had a good talk with him, and it was my first time talking to him like as a creator, so that was interesting. And, you know, he was interested in the book. I talked to Ron Lim, who is one of my favorite artists of all time. Like, I grew up on Mr. Lim. And so that's one of my favorite things to do with cons, to just run up on cats who I grew up on and be like, yo, you know, this book, you know, all this stuff. And like, I was fucking Ron up because he's known for Silver Surfer, but I knew him from Cyforce, from X Mutants, and from a few other things that he started on. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, Cyforce, like, you know, and he was like, who is this dude, you know? And I'm like, nah, bro, Cyforce, bro, like, you fucked me up when you came on a Cyforce. Like, that was like, you know, it was like one of the moments. It was like when I saw LeFeld on New Mutants, you know, or I've told McFarlane this, like, I never fucked with Spider-Man until issue 298 when I saw McFarlane on Spider-Man, and I was like, what the fuck is God? You know what I mean? That was like,
he gave us Venom, Carnage, like, oh my God, bro.
I never forgot that moment. Like, just that first issue of how he looked with the webs and shit. I was like, oh, and that was it. Yeah. I told McFarlane that because I didn't like Spider-Man before that.
Right.
So yeah, I talked to a few cats like that. It was mad fun, but like the illest shit to me was just, you know, signing books. That was so crazy. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, what was it like signing? Were people like asking you anything crazy, or they were, you know, like, what was it like?
Not yet. I did sign my boy's shirt. He had the Gucci Mandalorian shirt, so he was a fan of the show as well. So I signed that, and it was just interesting because there was people who were lined up waiting for it. You know, some people who knew about Mello, some people who knew me from the show, some people who were just fans of Jimi Hendrix, you know, and knew about the book coming out.
Right.
So that was really cool. But and then it was like, you know, after that we'd be, you know, hey, you want to buy this book? Because people would walk by and things of that nature. So that was really fun. But I'm still waiting for, like, one of the best parts of that weekend for me was one of the people who came through the media room. She had read the book. You know what I mean? And so she was sitting there asking questions about particular scenes in the book. And that was mind-blowing to me. That's what I think that's when it really, like, you know, Kay was asking, that's when it really becomes real to me, is when there's so much shit I want to talk about that's in the book, but I don't want to spoil it for people.
Right.
You know, like the themes that I was thinking about, or just like there's so many little Easter eggs and references I made to like from hip hop to music to movies to TV to other comics I'm referencing directly. And there's just all this type of stuff. And there's a lot of themes, there's a lot of characters beyond Jimi Hendrix. There's so much I poured into this book that we poured into this book. Like Mello has this whole page that tells this story. That's one of my favorite pages in the book, and Tom just fucking murdered it. And so it's like, I just want to talk to people about that page, you know, but I can't do that yet, you know. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
I guarantee. Yeah, that's gotta be a little frustrating because you do want to do all your promotion, but you don't want to spoil it because then it's like, well, I'm gonna get the book. He told me everything that happened already.
And
so
I'm like, because I'm a fan of Kieran Gillen, I've been trying to watch him. Like, he has a new book dropping tomorrow, Power Fantasy. I've heard it's fucking fantastic. If y'all want, pick it up because I recommend anything he does.
Yeah,
and
you one of my faves too.
Man, look, it's 10 years now I've known him because 10 years ago I stood in line to get Wicked and Divine signed. It was like, you have to come on For All Nerds. And since then, you know, that's when McKelvey was like, yo, your interview with him is one of the best ever. But that's like, we gotta, you know, we just clicked. Me and that dude, I fuck with him. He's just a great person. You know what I mean? It's like one of those people you meet who's like really a good person. Like, I've been a fan of his writing, and then like, oh, you're really a good person in real life. That's awesome. So yeah.
It's so rare, but it's so nice.
Fucking rare. Yeah. So it's like really nice. So yeah, Power Fantasy is out tomorrow. Let me bid that up one more time because he's actually
right.
You know, he's a real good dude. You know, it's like that's
you, man. Thanks for not being a piece of shit, bro. Thanks. Don't have to go back on Twitter and delete this picture later or nothing. That's
like,
nice.
They always said don't ever meet your face.
Yeah, like Tom King, that's my man. I mean, not my man so far, you know, but he was nice to me. But then I'm like, you're also former CIA, so I gotta really, you know, I have to really like figure you out, you know, like, and you being former CIA is to make you impossible to figure out. So I have to go with the, you're nice when I talk to you, you know, and you're a very interesting person, and I love your writing. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought about why I was talking about Kieran and everything.
Oh, I was wondering about meeting the people out there and stuff at SDCC and and the people that you ran into, and then like how fans were reacting and stuff like that. But
that's it. That's still that's how I was talking about Kieran. I'm trying to figure out how to promote this shit, but that's how I was watching how he's been promoting Power Fantasy. But there's certain things I can't do because of the Hendrix estate. You know, I don't only have the rights to this and that, so I had to do anything. But like when they dropped that trailer, I was blown away. You know, and again, I had no control over anything. It was like, watch the trailer. Here it is, Ben. You know, and I'm like, oh shit, this is dope. You know, so that like, it was like, if you could go to my Instagram, you could watch my reaction to it. And I swear to y'all, it was, you know, I felt silly because I react to normal trailers like that. You know, when I'm really hyped, like when a new Star Wars trailer comes out, my eyes be bugging out and all this shit. And it was the same thing because it was like I'd never seen my book moving. You know, I'd seen these images before, but the way they animated it for the moving stuff, it was just crazy. And then to see my name up there with Mello and just like, I'm like, wow, we did it. You know, and here's the trailer, August 27th. That was another big moment. Because then I was like, once again, I don't feel like they can go back on this now. Like,
you can't big now.
They're gonna have to tell some people. They got to give some people their money back.
Yeah, that's my thing. So now
it's too real.
Too many deposits.
And like I said, when I'm holding it in my hands like this, you know, and it's
right.
And like I was talking to Joe Illich about that, man. He's like, you know, this is really dope that you're kicking off with a hardcover graphic novel like that. You know, you're not kicking off with single issues. You know, they're cool and all, but this is like something that goes on somebody's bookshelf, you know, on somebody's coffee table. So it's like I'm really proud of this shit.
Are you thinking about what's next in that area, or are you like tired after putting this out? You need a minute. Like what kind of things are you thinking about next? Because I'm sure this opened up your eyes to more possibilities of stuff to do. Because now it's like now you got something under your belt, so you can look at other projects and be like, okay, that's how they did that. I can do this. You know?
Yeah, it definitely gave me confidence that I was like, okay, I could write. You know, I knew I could write, and I knew I could write already. That was one thing. I've written on TV and stuff. I've had people tell me, you know, you can do this. So, you know, people who I really admired. So this, and then like reading, when I've been reading it now, I still haven't sat down and read it all the way through yet, the whole thing. But I'll pick up, flip to a page. I'm like, yo, that page really worked. Like it works. It gets you to the next page, etc. It tells what it needs to tell, all these different things that a page needs to do. I'm like, wow, I can examine this, as a critic, and be like, nah, that shit for the most part works. And of course, there's little things where I'm like, you could have done that word or that word, But that's just how I am. But no, I have two main ideas that I'm working on right now. As far as like I just more creator-owned projects, and I would, hopefully get them somewhere or kickstart them myself at something. And then at San Diego Comic-Con, Janie was definitely mentioning sequels. So everyone go out and pick this shit up.
Let's go.
We're also looking at second printings and things of that nature. So, we might sell out of the first printing. So I also say go out and get, yourself a copy, because these are two things I did not know about, and I found this both out of San Diego Comic-Con, because I knew I've been promoting it crazy, and I knew we were doing pretty well, especially for being a hardcover graphic novel. And I know Jimmy has his own inbuilt fan base, and I know Mello, through Blade Runner, has sold a bunch of Blade Runner books, so he's now become a pretty popular comic book writer. So it has a lot of things in its favor, and Tom Mantrate's also a legend. And it's the first of its kind. Hendrix Estate is very strict with who they allow to do anything. And so, this is like monumental and bigger than I even know, really, because it's things that, I'm not taking into consideration about where it'll go and all those things. So, yeah, they're talking about sequels, and it's a complete story, I'd say, but I would say it's like I was thinking about it today. I would describe it as like Star Wars: A New Hope, where that's like the fourth part of a story, but it's a complete story in itself.
Right.
But where you're jumping into the middle of the story, and I know where it started before that, and I know where it goes after this. So yeah, I would love to write both of those, at some point.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Sometimes dropping people in the middle of the story is like the best, because it makes it then.
And it's going to be fun reading it. And also, it's one of those things, as somebody who is on the audio side, have y'all ever considered doing like audio comics? Because those are very, very popular, and they are so much fun. Like those are a ball.
There's so much stuff like with this that I would love to see done. Like they were also talking about animated series, and things of that nature would just, I'd lose it, like. Yeah. So yeah, an audio. I didn't, until you said that, I did not think of an audio comic. And hell yeah, it's just like
I consume those a lot, and like the Batman, Marvel, like all that stuff. Yeah. And man, when I tell you, because me and Roger could actually voice acted, so that's what made me think that. You already have your words written down, type of thing. So it's just like the voice acting and like the sounds, like it would actually be beautiful.
Yeah, and having the because we had the rights to his music in the comic, so we use a lot of his lyrics in different ways throughout the comic. So to actually be able to use those songs in a voice version of it would be really dope, because they're like, that's one thing that me and Mandrake and Mello, we really collaborated on, like how the music looks on page, because I didn't want to do the stereotypical or cliche little floating notes and stuff like that. I just saw a comic with that in it the other day. I'm reading this comic right now, and it's a good ass comic. So I'm just like, but at the same time, I was like,
but that's the part about knowing how the sausage is made, right? Because now you'll never consume anything the same again, because you're gonna forever be able to see the pen strokes, right? It definitely happens. Like if I watch the Daily Show and I see a monologue, I'll be like, nah, they could have did this with that one, or they could have. This joke was they should have tagged this 2 times. They tagged it 3. That's too many. Little stuff like that I wouldn't have thought about before. And I feel like with a comic, you want to challenge yourself to think outside the box. So it's like, oh no, don't go with music notes, go with this. And then you see somebody go with music notes, you be like, I guess they couldn't think of it. I guess they didn't see it like me.
Yeah, it is, because that was one of the first things I Googled, honestly. I Googled, like I read Wicked and Divine, I read certain comics that had music in them, but I was like, okay, let me read as many comics as I can that have music in them so I can see how different people approached it. And one I really big up is this Jim and the Holograms comic from, I want to say it's like 6-7 years ago now. It was incredible. You know, it's like
Get on
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, you need to. This motherfucker was so good. Like, it was incredible. And the way they did music, like you could look at a page and tell what type of song it was. You know, it was stupid. Like I was blown away by that gem. And then recently there's a Miles Davis book that dropped like last year or this year. And the artist wrote Andrew it, and he did some silly shit with how he's portraying Miles' songs on the page. So people are really doing really dope stuff. But then to me, it's also just like, you know, I can compare it to rap. Like you can rap technically, you know, with all kind of interior references and interior rhyme schemes and this like that, like Big Daddy Kane, someone like that, you know, who's rhyming at the top and bottom of the sentence and in the middle of the sentence. Or you can rap like someone like Too Short, who ain't doing none of that. And you can get your point across. And I like a combination of those things when especially in my writing and in my, you know, anything I create. I like to make it where it's like, it's both of those things. Like, I think we did a really dope way of expressing music on the page, but at the same time, I was really just like, let me get this point across, you know, and let me get this story told and hopefully, you know, hit you in the head with emotion and things of that nature.
All right. Well, look, Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze, August 27th. Pre-order it everywhere you get books.
Yes.
So like I went to the site. It's a link to every place. It was places on there I didn't know sold books. That's how go order yours. Make sure you get it. Let's sell this joint out. Let's get to that second printing. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Jimi Hendrix Part 2. Let's make Ben part of the machine.
Come on, audio books. I'm here for the audio books, child. Yes.
I want us to get to a point where we be like, yo, another Jimi Hendrix book? Wow. Ben really just, yo, he got the Jimmy cinematic universe.
Let's go.
Yeah, I would love to see it because, like I said, we created a whole universe. Like when I told a friend of mine the whole story, you know, I just sat there and told them the story of what happens in this graphic novel. They're like, well, you know, that ain't the end, right? I'm like, I know, but you know, it's the end of this chapter or this novel, but nah, that's obviously not the end. Like there's a whole, you know, we put a lot of work into creating a whole universe around Jimmy and what's happening in this universe. And like Rod said, you know, to people, it's hard to even describe to people what this is. Because most people, when they hear Jimi Hendrix, they're be like, oh, okay, some, you know, Jimmy, you know, going through his life on Earth, and it's none of that. This nigga never comes close to Earth.
The best word I could think of to describe it is cosmic. And I mean,
it's super cosmic.
The nerdiest, like silver surfing ass version of cosmic. That's how I mean it. So like, I was immediately drawn in. It like, and I'm not saying this in a funny way. It reminded me a bit of like Rick and Morty. How like Rick and Morty will have a concept, but the whole concept is just an allegory for like a different type of thing. And it's like, it's that level deep to me of like, oh no, this is more than just like, oh, here's some songs he made. Here's what his life was like. Nah, this is an entire galaxy, a universe of imagination you're about to enter. So, and Jimmy's just the gateway in. Like this story is just, it's gonna make you want to know more about the rest of the lore in this universe. So like it's such a hefty undertaking, and to be able to like have the creative team to make that come to life, man. That's just, I don't mean to be patronizing, but I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, Ben out here doing it.
Yes, and the thing is, Ben, I call myself, I'm always the quote unquote silent cheerleader. I watch you, I watch everything y'all do, and I always cheer. I always cheer from afar. And so just because I don't always like pop in your face or pop in the timeline, just know that I am really cheering, and I am so proud of you. I've got my niece your book years ago. You know, she just turned 18 years old.
Wow.
I got this for her. She was a small child.
Yeah.
And so I think about that book. Every now and then I think about that book. I was like, oh yeah, my boy wrote this book. I know this sounds silly, but I really do think about that. And it makes me proud, you know, because I was like, this is something that you had a dream, you had a vision, and you executed it. A lot of people have dreams and visions. They don't have the wherewithal to execute it. So just because you went through with it is an accomplishment of itself, regardless of anything that happens beyond this point. So I'm just very proud of you, sweetie. And I just wish you the best on this, baby.
Well, thank you so much, because like me and Tatiana on Fall Nights, we always talk about y'all as well. We've been saying that y'all are some of our biggest supporters, and not only that, just people that we really support. It's like with Kieran Gillen. You meet someone, you're like, oh, you really a good dude. It's like, and it's funny, Rob, we still have not met in person, have we?
Yo, we haven't.
No,
Whoa. Damn, I literally just.
I sure have not.
You blew my mind just now.
I don't think we have.
In my head, when I was in New York, in my head, I met him and Tatiana like 12 times.
And I don't think we did.
I think he was just Skyping and shit or whatever, like Zoom.
Yeah.
Damn. I was up there working. I'm not gonna.
I know. I fully understand. Yeah, and New York, the type of city, like, you can be in it for, like, my man Young Guru. That's my brother. He's super busy, so he's super busy. But that's my brother. He's been here like 2, 4, 5 years, I think now. I ain't seen him once in New York. Like, I've seen him in DC.
You're not just gonna see each other in the store.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you gotta live on the same block for that kind of shit. Like,
yeah.
I didn't randomly run into anybody I know when I was in New York, and I was in Manhattan too. So like, that's not even really like everybody don't live down there. That's like where the rich creative motherfuckers live and shit. So it was just like, I was just going back to the apartment and chilling. But man, yeah.
But in New York, the other thing, if you walk the streets long enough, you'll see everyone Like, it just depends. If you walk the streets, you'll see everyone. If you stay in your house, obviously you'll see no one. But if you walk the streets for a couple of days, you'll see everybody named Mama and people you had no idea, lived in your neighborhood, like everybody and their mama. So, but no, like I was saying, it's just always great, and thank you, because we're big fans of y'all's as well, and we just love the love and everything.
Respect is mutual, bro.
It is, baby.
Now I want to talk to you about some nerd stuff too.
Okay.
But I'm gonna play some commercial music right now so that I'll know later to go in here and throw an ad in. So give me about 25 seconds. Sip your water, everybody.
Sip your water, everybody.
I'm gonna take a toke of my marijuana. I gotta answer somebody's question.
Okay, I got you. All right, we back. You say you had a question in the chat?
Yep. Mary asked which song before, when I was talking about when I was DJing and like you made the wrong choice. And that's so funny. I always tell people, man, I've seen the biggest songs in the world be the wrong choice, especially when they first come out, especially back in the day when radio really determined everything. Like,
yes.
I used to play, the one that was like, that would blow people's mind, and this was before R. Kelly became Strum Bad. R. Kelly was Jay-Z Fiesta Remix. Like, the weekend I got that final, I was playing it after the show. It's after party. I remember me and my boy Analyze, we're in the crib losing our mind. We get the vinyl, we're in the crib like, oh my God, Jay did it again. Nigga, remix Fiesta. The original was already crazy. This shit's fucking out of, Go to the club that night, clear the dance floor. Immediately clear the dance floor. People booing me. A woman came up to me, what is this song you're playing? I was like, in 2 weeks, it's your favorite song. Get the hell out of here.
Right. But, they don't know, right?
If it's just how it is, it's like, if you don't know something, unless you're one of those people. I remember when I saw The Rain, Missy Elliott, I was on the dance floor and this DJ played it, and it was like the sea parted around me the way niggas rush the bar. And I'm just standing in the middle of the dance floor like, yo, what the fuck? This is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. And everyone was just like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Because they never heard it before. But, I'm a DJ, and when I hear new shit, I'm like, but they were just like, fuck out of here.
Also, like, it's interesting because, like, a good set versus a bad set depends on so many moving factors.
Yes.
One of the best parties I ever went to was Fayetteville State Homecoming my freshman year. And DJ Kid Capri did it. And it was like,
oh my God. And back then, like, it was,
Yeah, he was in the zone. Like, he was mixing everything. And stuff that I thought was like a deep cut, he was playing and everybody knew it. And I was like, maybe Camp Low Sparkling is not a deep cut. Maybe I thought I was in my room, everyone liked it. And then the homie Bomani Jones, he got a story about Kid Capri ruining a party where he like, I'll never go to another party. I'm like, I don't even know what it, like. It just be like that. It just be like that sometimes.
Because Kid don't play like. Even then, it's not really where you can dance. So if you look at the dance and groove, it ain't happening because Kid is playing one record, yelling and screaming, and then playing another one. But if you're looking to have your mind blown and be like, I can't believe this dude played all this shit, then Kid back then was something. And like that, he was the first reason. Like I used to DJ and never say a word, never say a goddamn word, you know. And then one night I went and saw Kid, and I was like, yo, he's great. But he's one of the big differences here is that I'm not talking and he is. And so after that, I went and started talking like crazy because, you know, you got to be able to do it. It's just a skill, you know, to have. But yeah, no, the answer to that question is I've seen many a song clear the dance floor and be the wrong choice, you know, and you would think it's the greatest choice in the world. And it's just like, yeah, it's pitching, you know, it's like, oh, well, that didn't work, you know. And also, digging is straight to play something else.
It has to be hard for a DJ because you have to take in consideration the age. You have to take in consideration, like the vibe of the room, because you know there's some songs that you can play for an older crowd, then the younger people like, what the fuck is this? Then there's some shit you can play for vice versa, where they be like, child. They be like, if we ain't two-stepping, I don't know, child. I can't be doing all that. My hip hurt, you know. So you have to know your audience.
Yeah, I did. Shout out to the Black Star Film Fest in Philly. I just did their opening night party last Thursday, and like for 2 weeks ahead of time, I'm sitting there. I'm hitting up DJ friends. I'm like, yo, all right, this is a Black Star. You know, it's Film Fest. It should be, you know, I'm have to get in my bag with some weird shit, you know, but still black, you know, and I want some inspirational, so I need some house, you know, so I'm hitting my hardcore house DJ, you know, and hitting this cat up and getting all this music, and I get there and like we're in a big auditorium type space, you know, with a huge dance floor, and so I'm like, I can't play none of that obscure shit, you know, it's like hit these motherfuckers overhead with the hits. And I crushed that shit, but it was like, you know, hit him with that black ass hits that you know, and that's what I did. So yeah,
you made me think of a couple of things, but the one that's the silliest is, hey man, whatever happened to people that sing like the lead singer in EU for doing the butt? How come nobody else ever sang like that?
Ain't that Sugar Bear?
Yeah, it is
Sugar Bear. Right? Yeah, ain't that Sugar Bear, right?
Freaky. How come nobody else ever sounded like that? That's crazy.
Because it's one of them voices. That's like, you know,
it's so unique.
Yeah,
I don't feel like you gotta be able to sing to steal that. People steal everything. I'm shocked we have not had like someone try to resurrect it or sample it. Keith just couldn't sing.
No.
Keith,
I know. No,
you better leave my Keith alone. Beg me all night long. Get out of here, sir.
My mom, rest her soul, couldn't stand Keith Sweat and his nasally singing ass. But let me say this. Okay. I once went to Buzz nightclub in Southeast DC. People who know about it. It's a dope ass big club over in Southeast. I was there for some shit. It was middle of the day, and Keith had a show that night, and this nigga was doing his sound check, and this nigga did. It was like there was 10,000 people in front of this nigga. Like this nigga sang every song perfection.
Wow.
Like it was the album for a sound check with nobody in there. I stood there and watched the dopest Keith Sweat concert I ever seen in my life. Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
wow.
Yeah, no, he's. So
what happened on the? Because I feel like on the radio it sounds like
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is. I'm not saying Keith got. It's like, you know, Keith is. You know, he got his lane and he sticks to it. You know? I'm not saying he's belting out the jams, but if it sounded just like the record, you know.
Okay.
If you like the Keith Sweat record, it sounded just like it, you know.
All right.
And there you go telling me, come on, man. That New Jack City joint, come on, man.
And I mean, honestly, the R&B game ain't been the same since niggas stopped begging.
Yeah,
it was better when they begged.
Yes, it was.
Now every R&B dude be singing / rapping, and they talk about they gonna fuck your girl. And I'm like, what? That's not what we came here for, bro. I'm not in a competition with you. This not what I gave you the money to hook me up, dude. What you doing?
And not only that, I like the begging and I like the slow jams. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, I understand everybody needs to be ratchet every now and then, but goddamn, everything ain't got to be with your socks and ass down, face up all the goddamn time. Come on, can't you be like, baby, please, beforehand, before play.
Yeah,
I'm old, y'all.
It got a little. We lost some recipes here. I hope we get it back. Somebody got to make begging cool again.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They think it's not cool.
Yeah, because and like Drake fakes it. Because Drake does that like it's real passive aggressive, not begging.
Yeah, it's misogynistic begging.
Right. He sing it like he begging, but he not really begging. Like he just trying to control you. Like, why you got to go out all the time and get dressed up nice if I can't go? Just because I'm with my other chicks? I'm like, that's
not how that goes. What happened to you love her?
You need to not be cool.
You know, and I think that's the thing. When you beg like that, A, you're not cool. And B, you actually want that woman, which is now that's like uncool to actually desire those things.
I know them dudes was lying because we know how they got down. Those R&B, we know how them players got down off the stage. Yeah. But like it used to be okay. A lot of the people in the song, "I love you so much,"
lie to me.
You know, even Joe with his dirty macking ass had figured out like, I'll beg a woman that's already in a relationship. That's how much begging I'm willing to do. So the game has changed.
That Joe video might have been the end of it all, dog. When that man ran up on Shorty right after she broke up with her man. Like, that video is one of the greatest videos of all time. Like, this nigga tells his crew, like, yo, hold on for a second. Let me go over here and mac on this Shorty that just got broken up with in public. Like,
let me slide on in.
Trauma.
And we have no idea why. She could be dead wrong. We have no idea what happened. He just slid up like, what kind of man would treat you like this, queen?
What kind of man?
Who knows what she said?
Shorty could have ran an orgy on
anytime.
Right before Joe got there, she's like, and that's why your mama a bitch. She's like,
she could have had a restraining order on her, anything. He was walking over there, hey girl.
Right. Oh my God. But we still missed that though. Y'all,
greatest video of all time, dog.
I'm here for it.
My man just appeared out the middle of the street.
It's like he tells his boys, like, hold on a second, like
that nigga appeared like an argument genie. If you shake your head 3 times at your girl, poof, Joe gonna show up.
I'm showing up. Don't you raise your voice too loud. Poof.
What kind of man? He was lying like shit too. Yeah. He gonna buy diamonds and gold. You just met her.
Right.
You don't know nothing about her except we got in a fight.
Sir, don't ball your fist up. Poof. He gonna appeal. You like, come on now.
Oh man. So yeah, man, speaking of Drake though, man. If you're losing the crowd, is it still enough to just play Not Like Us and get everybody back right now, or is it getting kind of old in the tooth?
What happened?
No, I'm just saying because it's everywhere. I feel like if you fucked up anything right now, a DJ could throw that Not Like Us on and get everybody back.
Oh, it's
I'm just wondering if you can still do it, or if it's
still do it. It's still do it. Me and a DJ friend, shout out my boy Analyze down in DC. We were discussing this last night. And he argued that you shouldn't bring it back, but I said at the Black Star Film Fest, I did the, A minor, and they were screaming, "They Not Like Us" so loud that they didn't even realize I brought it back for a second. So
damn,
I was like, nah, it's still working, bruh.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, and I personally think the biggest reason why after homecomings, that's when it might die down. Because too many Negroes don't spend their whole summer practicing. They go, God damn it, I've been out here sweating in this sun.
You know what?
Spinning this baton, high stepping. No.
You know what though? If once the HBCU brands break it out, it's just gonna get worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
it's not gonna get better for Drake.
It's not gonna get better for Drake.
Worse. I still know shit from '96.
Mm-hmm.
I still know motherfucking Doo-Doo Brown and motherfucking like songs that's obscure. This shit a hit.
Yes,
a hit. Yeah. No, I did a wedding a few weeks ago where they were Latin, but they were from West Coast. And when I tell you I played that song like you know, 4 times that night. You know, it was a moment. So it might die out here, but out there, and like, and the problem is the U.S. is more West than it is East. You know, that's what people fail to realize. Like the South identifies with the West. You know, the Midwest identifies with the West. It's pretty much just New York, you know, who's really West, and so, I mean, really East. So then it's like the rest of it is, you know, a West Coast nation, and so this is. Woo. And then Drake dropped like 3 joints today, and they're cool. I can't lie. One of them I really like.
Yeah.
It
said he dropped 100 gigabytes.
100 gigabytes of it's like videos and all kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, Drake, see, this is the problem, bro.
That now you turn it into
right now.
Lil B. Like that's what Lil B does, you know, like just
no amount of gigabytes gonna beat this thing down, bro. You just duck for a little bit and come back when it's safe.
I don't want no homework assignment. That's what that sounds like. I'm good.
Oh man, he's really. I mean, I was never like the biggest believer in the dude, but I never disrespected his talent. I always understood he ran things for a very long time and everything, but the response after his final comeback diss or whatever, and just how the pants he be taking pictures of on IG, I'm just like,
he gonna blow away on them pants,
bro. What happened to you, man? This shit dismantled you.
Yeah, it did. But the thing is, like, I was a bit, and still am a big Drake fan. You know, like I was like So Far Gone. I think is one of the best, you know, albums, mixtapes, or whatever you want to call it. I think that's just incredible.
Yeah, that first one. Yeah.
But like I said, when Kendrick started exposing shit, it was the same shit that I said when So Far Gone came out. I just didn't like when So Far Gone came out. I thought it was innovative, and then he kept doing it. Like when he talked about a girl's name on a song, I was like, oh, that's so dope. Whoever did that, a rapper. Actually mentioned the girl he's talking about he loves, and then nigga mentioned 50 girls on songs. I was like, this nigga's terrible, you know, like I was so mad at him after a while. I was like, this nigga's so trifling. So yeah,
well, innovative. It was innovative when he was 18.
Yeah, there it is.
The part that really hurts him is that Kendrick's pointing out, right, but it's the same shit and you 35, 36. Like you too old now, so what's wrong with you? And just I don't know that I've ever heard a diss that dismantled a person like that, because I can't not think about that shit when I hear Drake songs.
It hurt my feelings.
And I've lived through every diss record, but there's been ones where I was like, oh man, that person lost. But I've never been to the point where like I can't listen to their music without thinking about what was said about them.
Yes.
Because so much of what was said was true, and it just comes out of you. It's just
it's like he's playing it weird. Like today he dropped 3 songs and all of them have Atlanta artists on them. So it's like, you know, I get it. You're like, well, fuck that.
Right.
But no, it doesn't work like that. You can't say fuck that to that, because it's like, you're just admitting that you need these niggas.
Right.
Yep.
He can't do nothing. Right.
Yep.
The only thing I thought he could do is like either just make a banger by yourself, but he hasn't done that in so long that it's like who knows really, if he can.
Right. It really make you feel like it's stuck. Like it's just, I don't know what he can do at this point. It'll have to definitely be something I didn't see coming, but like leaning into it, like as soon as he started that one song with like, nigga, I said it, I was like, oh no, that's
no.
Playing chess with you, bro. He wants you to say that shit, and then soon as he dropped that, homie doubled down, still calling us some slaves. I said, God damn, got him.
When I played that at a wedding and people rapped that whole third verse, that's when I was like, that's what I was, you know, when niggas is at a wedding giving you an education, like
they going through your resume.
And the thing about this, y'all, this brought people that are non-rap people into it, because y'all have to realize years ago when this stuff happened, most of the time it was rap fans. Like for a lot of the beats was like you had to literally be into the game, rap fans. This was like, no, we're going outside of rap. We're having like national news people cover this story. That's when you was like, oh, this is a whole nother level of things happening here.
Now, are you getting any pushback or lack of enthusiasm for playing Drake music now, or is everybody back to normal?
It's kind of back to normal, but I just don't play as much. You know, is what it really is. Like I really just, but like I still, I have my Drake jams that, you know, like especially in certain
I got my
spots,
pops too.
I'm still running them joints, and they're still fine.
Yeah. Oh,
But then
absolutely.
Not Like
Look,
Us comes on, and it just, you know, it changes the mood. You know, and then you don't play no Drake after that.
I
You know,
mean,
it's like,
look,
No, you don't.
no,
Kendrick is
no.
Kendrick is a magnanimous dude because he left us something when he said, "Just keep making me dance, waving my hands. It won't be no threat."
Well, we don't
And he
problem.
right. He right. I like the melodies. I do like the melodies.
Yes.
Nice for what? And I'm like, we
Come
can do that all day.
That's my
All
bop.
day. All day.
You know, thank you, Kendrick, for not destroying that part so that I even because anytime I try to listen to him rap hard on anything right now, like I'll be at the gym and that motherfucking like, you know, like Money in the Grave come on, I'll be like, Skip.
No, I can't even imagine that. No,
You don't live that Drake. Come on.
I like the Drake, like the Up All Night Drake. You know, the Kush Roll,
Yeah.
Fast Field. I consider better thing. You know,
Yeah,
I like that. I like that
exactly.
shit talking. You know, like I'm having a good time, Drake.
I
didn't
believe
need
it's
him.
Drake.
Yeah, I didn't need headline Drake. You know, I didn't need that type of Drake. Like that was never me. Like, you know, I need like I'm having a good time, good life Drake, and I'm complaining about women Drake. That was my Drake song.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
All right, nerd stuff. You at the Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
The big announcement. Because it's all, let's be honest, it's all for MCU at this point. We know they the big dog. It was a lot of cool stuff that I thought got announced. It was like, as soon as the MCU shit happened, it was like, fuck everything that happened before this. And low key, like, it was like, fuck everything that happened on the announcement up to the last thing. Because it was like, the fucking Fantastic car flew through the goddamn crowd. Nobody was talking about it.
Niggas forgot about that shit immediately.
So RDJ is doomed, man. How are you feeling? I know it's like 2 or 3 years out before we even really get that movie, but like, how you feeling about this whole thing with Doomsday and bringing Downey Jr. back and that stuff?
Well, I definitely want to know how y'all feel, but I'm of two minds. It's funny. It's so weird how the universe works because the night before, it was like a couple days before I realized how many good ass movies are on YouTube for free. Because I didn't know that, you know, and so I watched Boomerang. I'm out at San Diego Comic-Con up late night, so I watched Boomerang, you know, Eddie Murphy classic, and I'm like, damn, that's fire. You know, I forgot how good it was. I'm not forgot, but it was like, it still holds up. It's instant classic, still great. And then the next night, I'm like, let me watch Tropic Thunder, you know, because I was in the mood for comedy.
My personal favorite.
I watched that literally around the same time that you saying this. I was watching it too because it came.
That's
on TV.
crazy. Yeah, because I watched it the night before the announcement, and I don't think it held up as much. I think RDJ carries it, like, you know, you know, he's unreal. And then Tom Cruise is pretty good, and that's like the you know the main two great things about the movie. But so when they made the announcement, I was like, ugh. That was my first. I was in this group chat where I was like, man, you know, that was my first, you know, reaction, you know, and they were people who were in the hall at the time, you know, so they're all hyped. And I'm just like, and now I'm still kind of, but I have like two ways about it. Like one, I've called Tony Stark a monster, you know, from day one. He's a war criminal, you know, he's one of the worst people ever, and he only redeems himself pretty much by like right before he dies, you know. So and so this whole multiverse idea where it's like people's choices and things of that nature, I'm really into. So the idea of Doom just being an evil version of Tony Stark doesn't really appeal to me because to me, Tony Stark is pretty evil already. So it's not like that's really appealing to me. What is appealing to me is if they do it where it's more, it is Victor Von Doom and Robert Downey Jr. plays it straight as an Eastern European man, you know, and plays it as Victor Von Doom. And that I think is, I don't know if audiences will want it, if Marvel is willing to do that because of money, you know, and they just want him to be evil Tony, you know, and make smart quips and all this shit. And I can't see that. Doom doesn't make quips like that. You know, that's just not him. I've never seen a version of him. I've never reread that one where it's Tony in the armor. Whatever. No. So if he plays it like that, I could see it. And I would love to see it. So we'll see. Like if he brings that Tropic Thunder of, you know, I don't stop till, you know, I read the DVD, you know, like until I do the DVD extras. You know what I mean? Like if he plays it like that,
God damn.
Yo, that scene where he loses it and goes from the black dude to the Australian dude.
Australian dude?
Yes. All in one scene.
They was trying to get Ben Stiller's character out of his psychosis, and they end up putting his ass in a psychosis. God damn that, man! I still fuck with that movie. It go hard for me, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying. I love,
Yeah.
but I think it's Robert Downey who carries that movie. Like Ben Stiller is Ben Stiller, you know. But it's like,
yeah.
And then black dude is funny, reacting to Robert Downey.
I'm not gonna lie, like so much hits for me. I think I also love that cast.
Yeah.
So like, cause I don't think you get in a comedy with that kind of cast.
No, because everybody's in it. Like Bill Hader is like, you know, a minor role in this shit. Like,
McConaughey's in there playing an agent. Like, it's just that's never happening again.
Oh,
but,
Matthew, I forgot about Matthew. He's so
good. He's so hard.
Even so hard. When that nigga's having the hard decision over the jet.
Yeah, we fucking threw that T-Mo. I got the T-Mo, man. Nah, that's my shit, dog. But I think I take your point though, because I am intrigued, which is something I can't say I would have been going into Comic-Con, because they had so much stuff laid out in advance for the MCU now. It's starting to feel like Comic-Con's a shareholders meeting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just, all right, third quarter 2027, we'll be having another property drop. I'm like, that's not why I got into it. I got into it because I'm like, yo, the Hulk is fighting Thor in this next joint? That's what got my blood pumping, period. So you're not even showing me a trailer. You're just going to tell me, like, here's the next slate of movies once you get as far as they're getting, right?
Right.
So, like, bringing the Russos back, you got my attention because I think they made some good ass movies.
Yes, sir.
Civil War still goes hard.
Wait a minute.
Oh, you muted. You muted. Oh, your mic isn't picking up or something. You might have to refresh if it's
giving you a hard time. Yeah.
He was talking though for a second. Let me make sure I invite him back on the screen. Sorry, everybody. We just want to make sure we get this right because I think I have to re-invite him back.
I think I made him Richmond College so he can bring stuff back on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's give it a second. Hopefully he get back in. Okay, I see. Let me make sure I invite him to main stage and make him a speaker. Okay. So it'll just give it a second. But yeah, bringing the Russos back was exciting to me because they made Civil War, I think Infinity War and Endgame, if I'm not mistaken. I know they definitely did Endgame and they definitely did Captain America Civil War.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a fan of theirs, you know, all the way going back to like the Community days because they also did Community.
Community, yes, I love Community.
So they had me excited just off of that announcement alone. Okay, I see you, Ben.
Hello.
Okay, I hear you too. I hear you.
Now.
You were saying something. I'm sorry, you got muted on you. Oh wait, can he not hear us? Oh shit, can you hear us, Ben? I don't think he can hear us.
To see me and no Rod.
Okay.
Ah.
Can you see me, Karen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me refresh. I'll be right back. Stage now.
There you go.
There. Wait.
Matt, can you hear me, Ben?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you, dog. You were saying something when I brought up the Russos coming back?
Yeah, the two screenwriters are also coming back. And they've been the same cast who did all the Captain America films and then did Infinity War and Endgame.
So I think, I think that's dope. Russos are directed well because they do real good if they have the material. Like it's a little harder for them.
Did you see Cherry?
Yeah, I saw it. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Tom Holland ain't never leaving Peter Parker faults.
Nah, man. Nah.
Like Cherry was his attempt to get out of there, and it's like, nah, bro.
Yeah, nah, come on back, bro. Put the pants back on. Let's do it. But yeah, so So they have me excited.
He's
with
another
that.
Keith Sweat with like, stay in your lane, Tom.
Yep.
Tiny man.
Killing in his lane. Killing
You
it.
are killing it over here, bro. But
Don't do nothing else. That Zendaya step out of her lane. She's the one.
My man Mello. Oh, I can't even say, but see, they were like, there's one great actor in that relationship.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is.
He did Uncharted. They getting a sequel. Good luck to him and Mark.
Is he just doing Peter Parker again in that shit? Because I didn't see that one.
Kinda, yeah. It's in his lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so them bringing RDJ out for me just made my mind like intrigued. I just want to see what they're gonna do because I did read the Iron Man Dr. Doom crossover comic. It was cool. Maybe they do that, maybe they don't. I feel like before that, I just thought, okay, we're going to like Secret Wars. Y'all gonna bring the X-Men in. Maybe y'all gonna do X-Men versus Avengers. So in my mind, I had already mapped out all this other stuff. They gave my mind a swerve where I was like, okay, well, shit. Show me what y'all gonna do with that because I don't know. But if somebody can make it work, it's this group of people. And if it don't work, then it just don't work. It ain't the end of the world for me. It's just another movie.
I did like that at Comic-Con they didn't really lay out too far. Like they didn't say when the X-Men or any of that stuff. It was more just like it's like the next 2 years, and then the only thing they talked about after that was Avengers. It was like that's coming in 2027, but it's really about these next 4 films we got. Fantastic Four. I don't know. I'm barely interested right now.
Yeah. Captain America, Brave New World. Something like that.
Hope for the best. Yeah.
Good luck. About to see if Mackie can helm a film, dog.
Yeah, we about to see. Can he hold it on his own?
Hey, on the real, I never thought we'd get here like this. I gotta say, if we take a 10,000 step foot back, everybody just take step back and just think about it on a macro level, not micro.
If you had ever told me
Mackie Captain America movie.
If
I would have told you that, you would have said you out your fucking mind, Rod.
You could have told me that after Steve handed him the shield. And
yes. Ben, when he got the TV show, I was happy for him. I said, "Oh, okay, good for you, Mackie." Yeah. Now split it with a white man, but it's cool.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You got half a TV show, bro. I didn't see that coming for you. A movie? Shit.
Oh man. Wow, I know. Has he ever led a movie before?
Not any that y'all think are good.
Yeah, not one with this budget level.
Not that y'all think is good.
Yeah, he has.
I watched Twisted Metal. You know what I'm saying? It was hilarious.
I got like 20 minutes into that hoe.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know when it hits. It's maybe it's like that more cowbell sketch.
Yeah.
But Ben, I'm gonna tell you right now, boy, you probably did the best thing cutting it off 20 minutes in, because I watched the whole fucking season. Once it got a hold of me, I couldn't let it go, man. Yeah. Everything this man does is hilarious. And
it's not even supposed to be funny.
I don't think I'm supposed to, like, he's trying to be funny, but I'm laughing in a whole different fucking way than he intended for me to laugh. But it's just as good. I can't wait for season 2, and I say that unironically. When that shit ended, I said, "Bring this nigga back." He's doing like a bad Ryan Reynolds impression.
Oh no,
it's so bad good, man.
Because Ryan Reynolds is doing a bad Ryan Reynolds impression at this point.
Right? I can't believe he did this. Well, thank you for doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see Deadpool?
Yeah, yes. I seen all of them. I seen all of them, man.
We seen Deadpool.
That's a match made in hell, right? Because Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, that's the same person.
It is. It's the same person.
Like, that is, like, I don't think nobody else could do them movies and they make $1 billion. And I don't think him. Yeah, and I don't think he could have played any other character that he could have done, and we'd be like, yeah, that's $1 billion movie. It just happened to line up. He got the perfect type of being annoying. And Deadpool does too.
That their personalities match. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. You was talking about what we think about Robert Downey.
Yeah, RDJ. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, I'm not gonna lie. Roger told me, I was like, okay, cool. And I think the way I consume things very differently. I'm like, okay, cool. I want to see what they're gonna do with it. Like I didn't just jump and just be like yay or nay. I'm like, I'm gonna see what you give me, and then I'm gonna make, because it, like Right say, it's so far off. So I'm not gonna waste my time getting pre-mad 3 years in advance. Like in my mind, that doesn't make any sense.
That's what I mean about it starting to feel like a shareholder meeting. You want me to get excited about something that I could be dead by then, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like. Y'all got a lot of work to do to make that work.
I'm hoping to make it to August 27th. Like
me too, of course.
My used thing was I wanted to live to see the end of Lost, and then I wanted to live to see the end of Endgame. And since I've done those things, Marvel can't hold no more parts of my life no more. Like I don't give a shit what happens.
You gotta find something else.
Yeah, I just want to live. Right now, I want to make it to August 27th so my book come out.
Right,
you know
right. You gotta pick white goals now. Like you running out of entertainment. But the thing I was saying though is like, and the reason I'm like, I feel neutral. I don't feel like excited or mad or disappointed because y'all have to do the work. I have to watch Captain America: Brave New World and feel like, oh, I want to see the next thing y'all do.
Yeah.
Y'all have like 6-7 movies before we get to fucking Doomsday. So maybe you know what I'm saying? Like maybe if it's still lit in 2 years, let's go.
It's a far off, and also I think that this just means because we went a few years without the Comic-Cons type of thing being the go-to spot for everybody. I think a lot more information is going to be shared at the D23.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? They definitely did talk about a lot of shit that's coming out. Daredevil.
Yes, so I think like a lot of the information that before they would have shared at Comic-Con, they're saving it for their own spot. And maybe this just mean I like everybody doing their own spot. I liked when Nintendo, Xbox, and the reason why is because I'm doing it here. Everybody's here wants to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to deal with people folding their arms, huffing and puffing and being angry. It's like, well, bitch, you ain't got to be here. Like we're presenting this to people that actually want to consume our shit. Great point. And so guess what? Your press is going to be positive. Not trying to be funny. People, everything's going to be positive. Like you don't have to deal with a lot of the negativity that comes along with it. And
because that definitely was happening at Comic-Con before the pandemic, where people started feeling like trapped in the room. Of like, no one wants to see this DC fucking panel, but where the fuck else we gonna go? Here they go.
Even this year, people, because I know people sat there through panels to wait for the Marvel panel, and I know they were like, I didn't want to see this panel, but I had to wait.
Right, so it's not fair those panels because no one should sit through. You're right. I do like the direct stuff. Karen.
And I think another reason for me personally why I like the direct stuff, maybe this is just me, and maybe because I'm petty. I wish they would have had the direct stuff years ago, so that when PlayStation decided to kick their kinetic thing off, they wouldn't have had that problem. Right. Everybody would have been like, "Here's our fan," because I don't care what nobody says. Bitch, y'all stole the future from me. Because Xbox was like, I want to do great things. They was like, you can share with your friends. They was like trying to give us the future. And all these motherfucking nerds. You get on my nerves. They give you the future and you go, why we got to always be online? Bitch, everybody always online now. You're not telling me like that's the shit that made me mad. It's like you're complaining about shit that don't matter. It was like I wanted to be able to share with my friends. Like I remember what they promised me, and we still ain't got all that shit. So I'm gonna be forever mad at them nerds.
Ben, speaking of endings, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, last Sunday had an ending that seemed to fall flat for a lot of people. Man, we got to do our review tomorrow, but I said this on Twitter and. It needed to either end with episode 7 or it needed to be 10 episodes.
Yeah,
I agree.
Ending on episode 8 it just does not feel like an ending to me. It just feels like here's what the story is. Bye. Like it feel like getting kicked out someone's house early, where it's like, damn, the fight didn't even start. Bye, man. It was nice seeing you.
Yeah. we did our review, this week on Sunday, and so I've had a few more days to think about it, and I pretty much agree. And it's like now I've been reading like even YouTube comments on our review, and like someone said they came in, and you were talking about this earlier, Rod, and it's like it's harder for me these days because I've worked in television, because I've written scripts, because I know how the sausage is made. It's harder for me to either accept things and also to criticize them. Now with this, it's hard for me to accept that this felt like money. This like halfway through the season, I swear, and I feel like they're never gonna admit this, and they probably deleted it. But I remember them saying before this show started that we're gonna do 2 seasons. That's it. And then I saw something today where George Martin said that they needed 4 seasons of 10 episodes each to tell this story all the way. Which, from what people who've read the book tell me, that's not true. And it feels like even halfway through the season, I knew they were padding it out. But, like, my problem is, as a writer, you introduced story arcs this season that you didn't resolve in any meaningful way. And I feel like that's weird. Like, that's just, it's unconventional, I guess, is one way you could look at it. But I just feel like that's not like you're serving a half-eaten meal or something, because it's just not like the whole shorty running them through the woods chasing after that goddamn dragon, and then for it to end on another cliffhanger when we've had 3 episodes of her just running. Yeah, Forrest jumping it through this whole season,
like the Hobbits.
Yeah. Do you think that the writer's strike may have impacted the season 2?
That's what I was gonna say. The word was because over there, if you film over there, you don't have to worry about the actors. So like that's why they were able to film the season.
Yeah, because they jump right back to it. I remember that. You're right.
Right, but the writers
couldn't be on set.
Right,
and they couldn't be on set changing shit.
You can only put what they've written at the time. So
you're not gonna get no rewrites or anything.
So halfway through filming their season, writing was done, meaning they could not go back to the well for more writing until after the strike.
Oh, damn.
And then the word, I remember it coming down like, oh, they're still filming. I was like, so are y'all gonna slow down so y'all can catch up? Because my understanding is a lot of shit to write. And then they were like, and the season's only 8 episodes. And I was like, well, the first one was 10. That's my conspiracy, Karen, is writer strike fucked them up. They had about probably half a season, stretched it to 8.
Yes.
And then was like, don't worry, we know we're getting renewed. We're Game of Thrones. We'll start off season 3 basically with the finale of season 4. But it's not gonna feel good. Like for as a person consuming it, y'all would have been better off doing 7 episodes.
Yes.
And the final image in your fans' head is Rhaenyra and them 3 dragons behind her.
Yes, that should have been in the season.
Because then everybody's like, even if it's you kind of cheated your way out, it feels like an ending-ish at 7 where it's like, yo, next season, it's on. But then you're going to tell a little bit more story. And now we like, well, why didn't you just fucking finish it?
And also the thing is, now I have to wait 2 years. So a lot of people are mad. They was like, you ended it like a cliffhanger of 24, and then you was like, you got to wait 2 years. That don't make sense.
Yeah. It's
and the other problem is like that I had was I said this at the end of the first season. I was like, I feel like the next season should start off with people screaming and dragons burning everything.
Right.
And Rhaenyra was already at that point, and it's like they basically just did a season of them debating to get back to the same point of, okay, we're going to war for real.
Yes.
And
there's a poetic symmetry to the beginning and end of the season. If you want to look at it like a Shakespearean tragedy of like, they did everything they could to avoid this fate, and yet they're still gonna go to battle. The problem is, I think you could have said that with episode 7.
Yeah.
Telling us a little bit more just fucks it all up, because now I'm back to like, so what's gonna happen with that?
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I think it should have been episode 7, or it should have been 10 episodes, because I don't feel like they're gonna get to this big battle in the first episode of next season, because you still have more people moving into place So it'll probably be like the second or third episode of that season when the battle really.
Because they also gonna have to remind us because it's gonna be 2 years.
Yep.
So they're gonna have to reset everything back up. Like, hey, y'all remember that this person didn't like this person?
Yep.
We need to talk about it again. And like, there was another episode this season I was talking about where it felt like everyone just repeated their motivation.
Yeah,
like,
they had a few episodes of that.
It might have been 2 weeks ago or something, but it was like every conversation was just like a conversation they had already. I'm like, nah, nigga, we know that you want to get food to
Allison, like showing up at the castle again, that shit to me felt so forced. Like it was like, come on, man, they've already had this conversation. Right. And the first time was pretty forced. So to do it in 2 seasons just because you want these 2 actors on the same stage is
I think that's what happened. It was like, listen, we didn't write enough. But we can get
I really think
we could get like an Emmy nod. If y'all just we gonna put y'all in for 10 minutes and y'all just go off and then we're gonna film that and submit that.
They just moved. They said we got to use the words. They just moved the words around 17 times. That's what they did.
Yeah, that was a weird episode, but you know, preview for tomorrow, guys. I'm sure we'll still make it funny, but you know, it's just I saw that shit was like, that's it.
Oh, there's a lot more you can talk about, so they ain't gotta worry.
Because not that funny though. The way that it ended. I was like, well, we got about 10 to 15 more minutes, right? Maybe another 30 minutes. I was like, no, boo-boo, see you in 2 years.
All right, this is the last thing I want to bring up. And it's something I was thinking about yesterday.
Okay.
They announced more Game of Thrones spinoffs coming to HBO.
Okay.
The Boys has like a prequel series in addition to Gen V. And of course, they have that animated thing they did. And there was another one that got announced yesterday that was like John Wick got another spinoff coming. At what point did everything that was kind of satirizing this MCU and cinematic universes become what they hate? Like The Boys is the peak, like we're fucking with y'all. Marvel is fucked up and very capitalistic and greedy. That's part of the messaging of the show is like, haha, these fucking WB, they don't know what they doing with that DCU shit. Nigga, y'all have 3 spinoffs now. What are we doing?
Yeah, I've always been like, I've read every issue of The Boys. I think we discussed it before. Yeah. And I think you have too as well. And I was never that big on it. I thought the show was better than the book, but I didn't think the book was that good. And I always felt like it was a very white man, ran show where it was a white man who liked to discuss politics, but in the end, like to both sides things. And I don't fuck with that both sidesism. I think that's the biggest piece of bullshit any cracker, and I will say cracker in that instance, will do, because they can get away with it. Like, when you're rich and white, you can say both sides are bad because it doesn't affect you. But the reality is Democrats will never be, a conservative is the opposite of a liberal. It's just they are, just by definition, they are not on the same. There's a radical liberal is not the same thing as a radical conservative. One of them wants to return to an era where I was enslaved. One wants freedom for all. You can't say that those are the same type of things, and that's why that's why I stopped fucking with the show when they started having AOC blowing people's heads up. I was like, oh no, this show's so white.
I'll tell you what, I watched the last season. I think they heard your critiques because
I don't believe it.
Let me finish. I did watch it
with Stormfront.
Right.
They didn't hear my critiques.
No, listen. Of the show, they definitely took into account some of the stuff you said because this season, like, there were moments where I was like, do they follow Ben? Like, this is a little too on the nose. Like, they mentioned that AOC exists in this universe. And I said, because for years I had heard people say that character was the AOC of that universe, and they went out of their way to like separate and be like, no, AOC is a pure liberal good person, and I'm not. And I was like, And then like there was a couple other hilarious, like racial points came up that I was like, And then like for me, I'm not, so don't judge me, everybody at home that loves The Boys, because I know y'all love it and I'm not trying to fight y'all. But for me, part of what I thought was good about it was that it was a little white. Like it felt like the white sensibilities. I said, I know that voice.
Yeah.
this year they took all the illusion out. Like the bad guys are just quoting Trump and MAGA people now. Like it's not. There's no guessing anymore of like, oh well, maybe you could think. Like they went so hard that it took something out of it for me. I once again, y'all, I understand y'all not like me. That's fine. This is not a debate. I'm just saying, for me, I like my racism and shit to feel authentic when I watch it, so that I'll be like, that could happen.
Yep.
Once they start quoting Trump, I'm like, well, nigga, everyone would know they evil. Like, it's not the same. Like, now everybody it's apparent who the bad guys are. This felt a little bit like America a season ago, because there's people in America that really be fighting for evil people and be like, no, they good people, because they be saying the right shit. And it's like, they don't. Now they just out there saying like, a woman can cure an abortion if she gets sexual assault. I say, nigga, I know the senator that said that.
Yeah,
that's not, y'all didn't even write that. Y'all just quoted that. So anyway, I'm sorry to bring that up. The main point was, why the fuck is everyone doing the CU?
Money.
We don't need that, man. Like, it's getting crazy. Whatever's happening at DC now, you have the Batman with Matt Reeves. The Penguin is a spinoff of that.
Yes, it is.
But the Batman not part of James Gunn DCU. So
nope.
This shit is not just confusing, but it's greedy. Like, bro, just make your movie. That was the deal, right? We don't need 12 properties to be confused by, dog. It's really ironic that the thing everyone's like, because we're looking at MCU being like, hey, this is a behemoth, bro. Y'all got to trim this shit down. It's getting crazy. And they're taking some of it, they're dropping movies, dropping TV series and shit. Everybody else adding shit.
They are.
What y'all doing?
And expanding.
I don't need to know John Wick's childhood story, man. This shit was dope when it was an hour and a half.
Right.
Man, that's like one of my biggest tweets ever is when I called John Wick a psychopath and said that he was, the villain of his own films, and people attacked me. People attacked me, and I was just like, and a lot of people I respected, but not respect, but people I knew through the internet attacked me, but that's something else I've learned, especially once I got into the writing of shows and things of that nature. I really started seeing how people will be so emotionally attached to a property that they don't look at it logically. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about John Wick. So it's like, to me, when I first saw the first film, I was like, this nigga's a psychopath. Yeah. Like, this woman gave him a dog so he wouldn't be a psychopath. His dog gets killed, and he decides time to be a psychopath. Like, nigga, you're not only a psychopath, you ignoring your dead wife, so you're the worst. So I've never looked at John Wick as somebody to admire or heroic.
That man backslid to hell, bro.
To hell. And
he was just like, stop killing people and be a normal person and marry me. And when I die, don't become like a killer again. He was like, fuck that. He was like,
and it's just
like, it's this dog.
It's like people's reaction to Corliss on House of Dragon, where I saw tweets where they were like, oh my God, he named a boat after her. This is the sweetest. I'm like, this nigga named a boat after her disrespectful nickname and still won't do shit that she told him to do while he was alive.
Right.
She said, do this shit. And this nigga ignores it. And this nigga's supposed to be sweet. So it's like, that's what I'm talking about when I'm like, people don't think of this stuff logically. They like Corliss. So they're like, and Corliss is presented as one of the protagonists. So because he's one of the protagonists, people are like, oh, and I'm just like, oh my God, y'all, media training. We need fucking media training in this country.
Right.
Because it's the same. Like, I had this argument over people with Rhaenyra where I'm like, Rhaenyra's a monster, and people are like, and I'm like, and then she's the rightful queen. I'm like, there ain't no such thing as rightful. It don't matter what, people like, oh, Viserys had done this and no, it didn't matter. Niggas are gonna challenge this woman for her throne no matter what happens. This nigga could have lived to 200, and every year of his life was like, this is the new queen. When that nigga died, the world would have revolted against it.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because I feel like the writing on the show kind of like dropped the ball with her character, because
they dropped the ball. They made
the Greens so unsympathetically evil.
Yeah, it's so silly. Now,
like, Rhaenyra fed a group of people to a fucking dragon,
and what?
and what?
Watch them get burnt up and ate up like Scooby-Doo snacks.
And people ended the episode like, let's go. I'm like,
no.
Damn.
She just watched like 75 people die.
We not supposed to feel good about this. You know what I'm saying?
At all. And niggas is cheering, bro. And that's why, like, and I get attacked every week on our reviews. You know, I have commenters who are just like, Ben's an idiot, this and that. And I'm just sitting there like, sure, kid, but, you know, one of us is written for TV and one of us hasn't. And one of us can, you know, look at this stuff and see where it's going, and one of us isn't, you know? And like,
and so Robbie said they volunteered. That's hilarious, bro. They was trying to run out, and they was getting forced to stay in by the guards who also got burned to death. Like
they were like,
she stood there and
watched
watched
hands, right?
Calmly.
Right, they volunteered,
They
bro.
could have said no.
You sound like a person that roofies people saying that shit. Like, hey,
it's
she came back to the house. That's not the same.
It's like they show Daenerys and everybody cheers, and I'm like, but this woman cooked the world. Like,
listen, dog. I caught the heat for the Daenerys shit because I remember people was so mad at the Bells episode, and I said, that's what I thought she was gonna do
from
the
the jump.
whole time.
She got the fucking dragon.
Season 1, it was like, them Targaryens is crazy. They will burn everything. These motherfuckers watched 8 seasons, was like, no, she's a good person.
Like, this woman straight up said, I'm not here to turn the wheel, I'm here to break it. And it's like, what does that mean? You know, that's what people don't get. Like, what does that mean? And it's like, that means burning shit. I've got 3 dragons. What do you think I'm going to do with them?
And low-key, high-key, I hated King's Landing as a location of Wreck-It Crew and everything. So, like, when she started burning, I was like, yep, that's what y'all get. Living up. That's like telling me you live in clan country. That's you. That's on you, player.
A nigga told me that this season, during my review, nigga told me that the dragons are a sign of culture. I said, nigga, these are 3. Well, I mean, in Rhaenyra's case, I don't know how many she got. These are nuclear weapons that move around. Like, these are not culture. When she said that, because I kept talking about how she sent her son to get 8, and people were so mad at me. And I'm like, she sent that boy over there on a dragon. She didn't send him over there on a boat. She sent him over there on some get down or lay down. And when he got there was a nigga with a bigger get down or lay down.
Yeah.
Shit happens, nigga. Like,
Lucerys he was looking like a snack that day.
That's one of my other biggest tweets ever. Niggas are so mad at me about it.
Oh, man.
I love that was my hashtag. She sent that boy to get 8.
I love that show, man. I love it. Like, it's even when it's whatever, it's still good.
It's still that's the thing about Game of Thrones. It's like it's just the right amount of trifling,
right?
And it's like it's power level, because sometimes it can be power level bad in terms of writing, but the production value is so great that it makes up for it.
Right. At minimum,
I love power. Trust me.
At minimum, you're gonna talk about it.
Nigga, I watch Power every. I'm so waiting for the end of Power right now, y'all. Y'all don't.
Power. That's another CU.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Yeah, we done broke
I know, and I love it.
Versions of that. Yeah.
Feed me every single, and that's like that's my thing. Like people don't get, like, when I talk about writing and shit. It's like, I'll never dog any writing, because all writing to me is really difficult, and stuff like Power, like being entertaining, right? And it's difficult, and so that's why,
a lot of bad stuff out there.
And at the end of the day, man, like, love it or leave it, like, it's really just entertainment at the end of the day.
All.
Mm-hmm. And I mean that good or bad, like,
right.
Twisted Metal, to me, I can't defend as a TV show. I just can't on any level. But I laughed for 10 hours straight.
I can't defend Power, but I will cry through.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you ask me to critically tell you why you should watch it, I can't. Right? I'm like, no, you shouldn't. I regret doing it, but I'm in it now. We here.
Method Man has sex with a different woman every episode. It makes absolutely no sense.
No, yeah,
I mean, he Method Man,
right?
I get
look,
it.
It makes sense.
It makes sense in that regard. It does.
Yeah, yes, it makes sense. It don't, but it do.
Yeah.
It don't, but it
Ben,
do.
Thanks for being here, bro.
Thank you for kicking it with us.
Make sure y'all
so welcome.
book Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze, everywhere you get books. You know what I'm saying? Get that physical.
Support your local comic store if you can.
Pre-order it. Go to your local comic store. Do all that stuff. Ben, thank you for being here, bro. Tell everybody where to find you.
You can find me on all the internets everywhere at DJ Benhameen. That's DJ BenHameen. DJ Benhameen. You can also go, I have my website, bigdjenergy.com. You can go there. And if you want to pre-order Hendrix, there's a link there. You can also get a bunch of my music. I've been putting out like house music and remixes and all kind of stuff. So you can get that there as well. And you can just keep up to date. You can leave your email and I'll be sending out emails with my new music, with other updates, all that type of stuff. So bigdjenergy.com, djbenhameen.com. If you want some merch or if you want to follow my podcast, forallnerds.com, where you can't really see it, but you can get there we go. Magneto is right joint there. For All Nerds, we're the voice of urban geek. You know, we talk about geek culture from the perspective of people of color. And we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year. So we've been popping from it.
Congratulations. We love to see it, man. Make sure y'all support the homies. Him and Tati, they've been doing that thing forever. I hop on there all the time, man. It's always fun.
It is.
Always have a good time with them. So, you know, y'all make sure y'all support and get the comic. I got it pre-ordered, locked and loaded. I already done read like 5-10 pages. I'm telling y'all, it's a smoker, guys. It moves. You know what I mean?
You got to let me know when you finish it, Roger. Like, well, I know you're gonna wait for the real book now, so I'll just wait until August 27th.
I got you though. I'm for real.
I know.
Until next time. House of the Dragon tomorrow. Y'all know the recap thing. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Bye, Ben.